You know who I really like that's on a political tip is Immortal Technique.
Yeah, Immortal Technique is, and he's a huge conspiracy theorist too.
Yeah, I like him, and even though he's an East Coast guy,
Yeah.
and I like what he does though, and I like his message. I like what he's saying, and I like what he's doing.
Do you think it's any truth to what he's saying? Like, because he speaks a lot about devil worshiping in the music industry and artists selling their soul for riches and things of that nature, and Illuminati and symbolism. What's your take on that in the business?
I think that what you need to do is go back and see what Illuminati comes from, okay? It comes from the Catholic Church back in the Middle Ages, and I think that you have to look and see what it is and try to understand it a little. I think the guy certainly has the right to talk about or speak about whatever he wants to, and then you make your own decision as to whether it's something that you think is real or not real. Just like when you read the Bible. I mean, do you believe everything in the Bible? Do you believe that Moses parted the Red Sea? I don't know, man. I wasn't there. I wasn't there, but it's certainly it's the most read book in the world. So you have to keep an open mind as to what's happening. Do I believe in devil worship? Absolutely not. And Eazy didn't either. It was a joke to him. He did it because he thought it would sell records.
Yeah.
But that 666 thing with him, that was just a joke. We used to. That's not something that he believed in.
Yeah.
But he and I both believed in everybody's right to say whatever they want to say.
Freedom of speech. Let me. What's your take on all the accusations of Jay-Z being involved in the secret society in the music business?
I think that Jay-Z is very bright. The people around him are very bright. He's enormously successful, and I think he's a good businessman. And I think good businessmen do what they have to do to be successful. I also think that the guys that he hangs around with, like Puffy, I think Puffy's probably the greatest marketing guy in the history of our business. What a great marketing mind he has. So is he in a secret society with Jay-Z? I don't know. They're friends, Yeah. They're both enormously successful. They're both smart, good-looking guys that are at the top of their game, and they hang out together. So if that's a secret society, I don't know, man.
Man,
all I know is they're smart businessmen.
Yeah, I look at it as a lot like this, like a lot of people in the media that brings it up, and ask artists these things. I think it's more so a lane for the artists to promote themselves in, and to have people like, oh wow, he's an Illuminati because we saw a symbol in the background of his video, or he became so successful that he's Illuminati, things like that. I think they just created a avenue for artists to promote themselves on a higher level to make more money. The
Beatles started that on Abbey Road. That when they played backwards, Paul is dead, on that.
Yeah.
So, it's not the first time that someone has done that. But I think to be informed about it, you have to read about the Illuminati, understand what they are. They were a group of Vatican bankers who controlled Europe, because they controlled the most powerful bank in the world, and the Catholic religion certainly. The Catholic religion were the largest landowners in the world at that time. So, I think that it's not a secret society, but they have their secrets, and whatever it is, you have to really read and learn about it and make your own decisions.
Yeah. So is it safe to say that, and all the time that you've been in the music industry, that you haven't witnessed no secret society within the music industry, that a secret club of members who, bring you to a certain level, idol makers?
Look, I hang out to this day with the most important people in the history of the music business. David Geffen, Irving Azoff. I mean, I hang out with, they all got Gulfstream 5.5s and, I mean, those are guys that I started with in this business. And believe me, there's no secret societies. There's no Jewish conspiracy, and there's no secret societies.
Thank you for clarifying that, man, because we get so many people on the show, man, we ask this stuff too. They'll take you on a roller coaster ride if you let them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So
you know why I'm friends with Mo Austin and David Geffen and Joe Smith and guys like that?
What's that?
Because I've delivered for them since the 1960s. Every time I tell them about something, it always turns out to be true, whether it's Journey or Creedence or N.W.A. or whatever, because I deliver for them. And in 1970, I got a letter from a young guy who was a freshman at the University of Illinois. He wrote me a letter telling me he wanted to be in the music business. I liked what he had to say. He flew to California on his own dime. I met him. I hired him. Today, he's the most important man in the history of the music business. His name is Irving Azoff, and that's why we're friends. We don't have any secret conspiracy. We're friends. We have common backgrounds. We're both from the Midwest. We're both Jewish. We have common backgrounds, but we have no secret society. We're just friends, man. I gave the man his first job, and we've been friends ever since.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you for answering that for us, man, and clarifying a lot of these falsifications that people put out there, misconceptions of you. You know what I mean? It's just crazy, man. Like somebody that's been around this long, man. That all these people can come up with all sorts of reasons why they have a problem with you. And just reading your book, man, your book really just opened up my eyes to a lot of things. Like, well, that's true. Like, and going back to the Dr. Dre situation where, he wasn't happy with the label, but I think you was at his office or his place, and he had ASCAP checks laying around out all around, and he never cashed.
He just put them in a drawer.
Yeah, that right there kind of fucked me up because I was like, if I had an ASCAP checks a couple of those things laying around of the amount or some that they was made out to, because I was saying it was about $75,000 here. And,
yeah, I think it was $80,000, and this was 1988, man. So that's a lot of money, and he just had them he just never even opened them.
Yeah, and then I think, as I recall, you asked him a question about it in the book, and he didn't answer. I guess he was set on whatever Suge put him on, at that time. But that's the book. Really is an interesting read, man. You know what I mean? I recommend.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that, and I wrote it to try and establish Eazy's legacy. And to clean up my own reputation a little. So, I just told both sides of everything. And, just like on the back of the book where I had all these quotes and stuff, will.i.am said something nice, Irving Azoff, all these guys said nice things. And I asked Ice-T for a quote, and Ice-T said, I met Jerry Heller once and didn't trust him. So I put that there right along with the good stuff, man. So if people are going to believe you,
you
got to show them everything. You can't just take the good stuff and let them read all this good stuff about you, because everybody just doesn't have all good stuff.
Definitely right. Definitely right about that. Oh man, I wanted to ask you, with the what was it, Sound of Los Angeles Records. Solar.
Yeah, Solar. Yeah.
Was those guys at the time, were they hounding you for Dr. Dre before the Suge Knight even came in?
No, they Dre got him. Suge got Dick Griffey and Wes Crockett interested and Virgil Roberts interested in Dre, and then they went to Hank Caldwell at Epic and got them interested in making a deal. So I think that Suge was he was the one that he wanted to be Jerry Heller, he wanted to be Leor Cohn,
Yep.
he wanted to be Andre Harrell, and so that's he didn't have the talent to find those people on his own, so he did what he thought that he should do, and that's to take other people's assets.
Extortion.
Well, he didn't extort me, but I don't like what he did to Vanilla Ice was.
Yeah, that was crazy, right?
Yeah, crazy, right?
Do you speak to Vanilla Ice, or is he someone that
I've never spoken to him in my life. And the funny thing is, no, I never met him. But the funny thing is that from the day that Ice Cube left Ruthless, I never have seen him again. I never saw him at a Laker game. I never saw him at a Dodger game. I've never run into him any place again since the day that he left Ruthless Records.
Let me ask you this: if you seen Ice Cube today, what would it be like? What would y'all have words, or would you, say anything to him, or do you think he would say anything to you if y'all ran into each other?
Well, if he was by himself, I know he wouldn't say anything to me.
Really?
But not a chance. So, but I don't know. I ran into Brian Turner over Thanksgiving. I hadn't seen Brian Turner since Ice Cube, went solo with Priority. I ran into him at Trader Joe's in Palm Desert, and we sat and talked for an hour and a half. He was with his wife. I was with my cousin, who has a beautiful home down there in Rancho Mirage, and we stood there and just sat and talked for an hour and a half, and hugged and shook hands and stuff. And he said to me, the only thing that I dispute about your book is that you blame me for Ice Cube leaving. And I said, no, I think you read that wrong. Really what I was saying was that you enabled him to leave. Yeah. Because if you wouldn't have given him a solo deal, he couldn't have left. So, we were very friendly and nice. And if Ice Cube wanted to be friendly to me, then I would be friendly to him. Remember, he wrote No Vaseline, I didn't. And remember what No Vaseline says. How can you be a nigger for life crew with a white Jew like Jerry Heller telling you what to do? And I'm going to shoot that Jew in the temple. So that's a little tough for me to turn my back on, Yeah. It's not the same. When Dre left, it was all about business. And when Brian Turner, was just about business, Ice Cube made it a little more personal. When he starts attacking me and my religion, and my relatives that died in concentration camps in Germany, and it's just he put it on a whole different level.
He changed the whole outlook on it. And how's your relationship with Ren and Yella? Like, do you still talk to those guys?
I've only seen Yella once. I haven't seen Ren at all, and I've only seen Yella once. I saw him he and Animal, who was one of my bodyguards, did some kind of cooking thing at this club. But I see now that Yella is starting to say things about I got fired and this and that, stuff that he knows nothing about, just because he's trying to be friendly again with Dre and Cube and hoping that they'll put him in the movie. Otherwise, that's the only reason.
Oh man, that's crazy right there.
Well, he goes with the wind, man. He blows with whatever way the wind blows. That's the way he blows. Yeah. And you know something? It's too bad because he was a big part of Dre's production process in those days.
Wow.
Yella's a very solid guy in the studio. He's very solid, man. And he was part of the production process. And he was part of of the success of Ruthless.
That's crazy.